Hi my lovelies, I hope you are well. Welcome to the Gods and Charmers channel. My name is Claire and today we're going to be talking all about charging crystals. So if you missed it, this is a 3-part series and this is part 2, so you can find a video all about how to cleanse your crystals back on the channel. So before we get into that, the whole slightly boring YouTube stuff, but it really does help out my channel and helps us grow and reach more people. If you do enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up, leave a comment down below. If you haven't already, come over and join the GE YouTube family by clicking subscribe and the bell to make sure you're notified of our uploads. If you also click the drop down under the title of this video, it will have the link to my closed Facebook community group, so you can come and join me over there where we do lives and crystal events and all sorts of story time, that sort of thing. I do full moon and new moon worksheets each month, so we have a lot of fun there, and you'll also find links to both of my websites down below. So all that out the way, let's talk about charging our crystals. So it's the second step, if you like, when working with our crystals. If we brought a new crystal home and we've just cleansed it, if we have deactivated a crystal grid and we have cleansed those crystals now and released any programs, and we've got our crystals and we're like, okay, I'm going to want to work with my crystals again in the coming couple of days and do another grid or carry some with me or make a charm. Our crystals already vibrate at a beautiful high frequency. They have wonderful energy to them, but we can, in essence, take care of our crystals, start a connection between us and our crystals by taking the time to look after them, and charging them is a way to do that. It also raises their frequency and can actually charge them with specific types of energy, which we will get into in a little bit. So, how to charge them? There are so many ways to charge your crystals, and it really doesn't matter if you're working with a rough, a polished, a tumble stone, a huge crystal, a small crystal. You can charge them all in the same ways. Now, a really popular way to charge our crystals is by the moon, and that would be the full moon. So lunar energy is a really wonderful way to imbue your crystals with the energy of the moon, also help their frequency to raise and to charge them up ready for use. They're really, really energetic, and that moon energy that they're absorbing is then also going to go into the work you do with them. So that may depend on how you actually decide to charge your crystals for what you have in mind. So lunar energy is fabulous, but it's only available to us once a month for 3 days, and you may want to charge a crystal in the meantime. So there are several ways you can do this using other crystals. Now, my favorite is these selenite plates. We have these on the shop in a couple of designs, and they're a really beautiful, nice thick selenite. This has the flower of life symbol on it, which again is another layer of energy, another layer of vibration. Now, this is already connected. Selenite connects to the moon. It is named after the moon goddess Selene. So if we charge this crystal under the full moon, so cleanse it, now charge it under the full moon, your selenite charging plate will hold that full moon energy. So if you are in between full moons and you would like to charge a crystal with the moon energy, but you're like, I don't want to wait 3 weeks or 2 weeks for the next moon, you can take your charging plate, which is now holding that moon energy, and you can do this with other crystals as well. Selenite is just uniquely attuned to the moon, but you can also use a clear quartz charging plate, agate charging plate. Oh, we have some beautiful ones of those at the moment. I love to use the agate ones because they're really, really versatile energy-wise, and they bring just a softness to your crystals and the workings you're going to do. So that's another option. But charge this at the full moon, charge it every full moon, cleanse it, charge it, then use it throughout the month to charge up your crystals. And you just simply would sit them on there and leave them on there for anywhere from a couple of hours to 24 hours, depending on your preference, what you're doing with them, how much lunar energy you would like in there. And you can put your hands over your crystals and see how energetic they're feeling. Is it feeling warm? For some people it will be cool, for some people it will be a tingly feeling, and you'll know when it's filled with that energy. Now, another way is using sound, and there are numerous sound tools that you can use to assist you. One is a crystal singing bowl, a personal favourite of mine. I often talk about it in group. I've taught about it quite a bit over in group, sourced quite a few singing bowls at this point for our community. Because the crystal singing bowls are made of 99.99% quartz, they're already of the same frequency, if you like, as your crystals. They are a crystal themselves. So again, it's matching crystal energy with crystal energy, but this time we're creating sound through the use of crystals and using that to charge up our stones. It's also very effective if you want to do a lot of crystals at one time, because you can put your crystal singing bowl in the middle of the room with space for you to sit, and then place all your tumble stones or your larger crystals. Size really doesn't matter when you're using this method, because you can place them around the outside of the bowl, and then you sit down and you play that crystal singing bowl for 10 minutes, 20 minutes, however you feel called, until you feel enough energy has gone into your crystals and you're energizing them. You're almost kind of waking them up and giving them a little bit of zhuzh. It's like maybe you're someone who likes makeup and you get up in the morning and you feel really good once you've put your makeup on, or you love clothes. It's like we're doing that for our crystals, in the sense of giving them that lovely feeling afterwards. They feel different, and you can feel the difference in your crystals once you have charged them up. Now, another option is a quartz triangle like this, and you would put your crystals down on a surface, have this above, you would knock it with your beater and then go in a clockwise direction over the top of your crystals and charge them up with that beautiful sound. And again, I find, because we're talking about something made with quartz, it's more attuned to working with the crystals, so things charge up quicker. I find that that's my preferred method, and also my crystals preferred method. So see how your crystals react to the different methods of charging. You don't have to just use one, you can use them all if you want. Try them at different times, experiment and see what works for you. You can also use a bell. This is not a preference in my house, and neither is a Tibetan singing bowl, but you could use that. I personally don't particularly resonate with the Tibetan singing bowl that much when it comes to my crystals, but a lot of people do. But it's actually, the reason we don't use the bell and the Tibetan bowl that much is because my cats absolutely hate the sound of it. And one in particular likes to be involved in all crystal cleansings, all crystal chargings when they're done up here at the altar or on the floor in here, and she absolutely hates the sound of the bell and the Tibetan singing bowl tinctures as well. She does not like those. I have them. Again, you can use those to charge up your crystals if you don't have to worry about a cat that really doesn't like the sound of them. So sound can be really powerful, but you don't have to use a tool. You can also use your voice. So if you like to do mantra, you can actually sit down and do mantra in front of your crystals to charge them up. You can sing to your crystals to charge them up. If you like to use your voice in that way, you absolutely can. I'm a dreadful singer. I certainly will not be singing to my crystals. If I am, it's probably going to be some absolutely out of tune little ditty that is certainly not going to add a high vibrational frequency to them. But if you do like to sing, then you can use that. The other way is the sun. Now, the sun is one of those you want to be careful with. Now, sometimes we might especially like we've got a tiger's eye here that's already very attuned to the divine masculine. It's already very attuned to solar energy. The same with a carnelian, for instance. So I might think to myself, well, it would be nice to charge them with the sun because they're already attuned to that energy. So that's what's going to work best for them. That's what's going to make their frequency raise. That's what they're going to enjoy. But we don't want to put our crystals in direct sunlight. Now, some crystals will fade. So amethysts will fade over time. Calcites will bleach and lose their color and become white. So you don't want to damage your crystals. So if you would like to use sun, take your crystals outside, and I like to put them down on the grass if I am using solar energy, but I will put them down on the grass in the shade. So they're still in a shady area, but the sun is out everywhere. Just because it's not beaming directly down on them, it's like just because you're in the shade, it doesn't mean that you don't need to wear an SPF. Your crystals are still going to get that sunlight. Just like when we moon charge, it's not always practical to take crystals outside, so we might use our windowsill. That moonlight is still coming in through your window, regardless of if you're outside and the moon is directly above. So if you want to use sunlight for your charging, be mindful of that, and also be mindful of quartz, particularly polished quartz into spheres, because they can spark a fire if direct sunlight comes down on them. So you want to be careful with sunlight for fading, for safety reasons, and sometimes it's just practicality. You can use a windowsill to charge with solar energy as well. So that's really the main methods that people use to charge and add energy to their crystals. But there are also some other methods you can use as well. You can pass your crystals through resin smoke. Now, some people like to use resins for cleansing, but I personally find they're not as effective for that, and they don't cleanse like crystals you're working with intensively fully. But I do find if I use a high vibration resin such as dragon's blood, such as frankincense, such as copal in its purest form, and I use it on a resin burner. If you're in our community, you've seen them, we've got them on the website. So we don't use any charcoal discs, so you're getting that pure scent of the resin and the tea light heating it through the resin burner. And it's just the right temperature, and it's a wonderful way to really enliven your crystals. You can also use essential oil blends and oils to charge up your crystals as well. You can actually, if you've got a small bowl and you want to charge up some special crystals for a working, you could pour some of your oil blend in there and sit them in the oil. Always making sure, just as we discussed in video 1, that you're not using porous crystals that are going to get stained or damaged, or it's going to degrade them over time. So mostly quartz-based crystals, most jaspers would be suitable for that kind of anointing and soaking work. So that's another way you can add energy, add vibration to them. For some people, they like to actually use candlelight and call upon the elements to charge up their crystals. So they'll have their crystals in the middle on a tray, and they'll have 5 candles representing the 4 main elements, and then a source candle in the middle. All their crystals around that source candle, light them all, and call the elements to raise energy to charge up your crystals. So as you can see, there are many options depending on what's practical for you, what you feel called to, how often you need to charge your crystals, if you can wait for a moon, if you need to charge up a crystal now. And remember, it's not just your tumble stones, it's not just your generators, it's not just your spheres, it's also your gemstone jewelry. So your earrings, your bracelets, your rings, you can charge them up. For me, the most practical way to do that is I charge selenite plates like this. I have quite a few at this point, and I will charge them all up on the full moon, and then they are used throughout the month to hold the jewelry I'm working with intention. So my bracelets, my rings, I will take them off and I will place them straight onto there, and that will hold all that lunar energy, so that can go in and raise the vibration of the crystals that I am working with. But any of these ways, if it calls to you, you can use sound for your jewelry, but start to look around, because often we have crystals on our wands, we have crystal pendulums, and these are all tools that we would need to cleanse and that would benefit from having a charge every so often. You don't have to charge them absolutely every time that you smudge them. If you've got your jewelry and you want to quickly, that morning you've put your jewelry on, feels a bit like it's icky, you want to just cleanse it through some smoke and then go about your day. You don't have to be regimented, and you can actually go with your intuition as to, okay, does this crystal I've just cleansed feel like it needs charging? Do I want to add solar energy to it or lunar energy to it to assist me in a working I'm going to do? And you can really kind of make your own way of looking after your crystals, way of working with your crystals. It doesn't always have to be, you must do this, you must do this, you must do this. You can pick and choose from the cleansing methods, pick and choose from these charging methods, and then when we're going to talk about program, you can pick and choose there. So that will be video 3. Keep an eye out for that. I hope you have enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to comment down below. I hope to see you over in the Facebook group if you're not already a member. That is it from me. Blessed be, my lovelies.